The small town of Willow Creek had never seen a case like this. A 10-year-old girl, Lily, vanished without a trace. Her parents were frantic, the townspeople whispered, and the police were stumped. But one thing kept nagging at Detective Emma Reed. A single chilling clue. A drawing of a symbol that no one in town could recognize. Until Emma found it in the darkest corners of the town's hidden history. And that's when the true nightmare began. It was an ordinary Tuesday morning when Lily Thompson, a bright-eyed 10-year-old with a knack for sketching, disappeared. Her parents reported her missing at 10:15 a.m. She hadn't gone to school, she hadn't met her friends, and she hadn't even left the house. By the time the police were called, every corner of the small suburban neighborhood had been searched. No one had seen her leave. Detective Emma Reed stood at the edge of the Thompson family's front yard, taking in the chaos. The father, Jason, was pacing, his face pale and his hands shaking. The mother, Sarah, stood frozen in place, her eyes wide with horror. "We searched the whole house," Jason said, his voice frantic. "There's no sign of her, no note. We don't know where she could be." Emma nodded, trying to maintain composure. "We'll find her, Mr. Thompson. I promise." But as she stepped inside the house, something didn't sit right. The walls were lined with photos of Lily, each one showing a smiling, happy child. Emma's eyes fell on one particular image, Lily at her birthday party holding a gift. But it wasn't the image that caught her attention. It was the object in the background of the photo, a symbol, a drawing of a spiral-like shape scrawled on the wall behind her. "Sarah?" Emma called, her voice low. "Did Lily draw this?" Sarah turned, her face pale. I don't know. We've never seen that before. It doesn't belong to her, and it wasn't there last week." Emma's instincts flared. Something was off. Emma spent the next few hours scouring the town for any trace of Lily. No one had seen her leave the house. No one had seen her anywhere. The case was going cold. That evening, back at the station, Emma sat down to go through the missing persons report. She couldn't stop thinking about that symbol. She had to know more. She ran a quick search, pulling up archived photos of the town's history. That's when she found it. The same symbol, used in a set of old photos from decades ago, tied to a now-defunct local organization, the Willow Creek Youth Foundation. The foundation had been founded in the early 80s by a respected local businessman, Robert Pierce. Its purpose? To protect children, to provide resources for underprivileged families. But when Emma dug deeper, she found a troubling series of allegations. Several children had mysteriously gone missing during the foundation's operation, with no clear explanation. The organization had been shut down abruptly, its members dismissed, and the case was buried. Emma's stomach tightened. There had to be a connection. She reached out to the surviving members of the foundation. Their responses were vague, defensive. But one person, an elderly woman named Margaret, agreed to meet her. Margaret lived in a rundown house on the outskirts of town, its windows covered in grime and its yard overgrown with weeds. Emma knocked on the door, and after a long pause, Margaret opened it, her face creased with age but sharp eyes hiding something darker. "I know why you're here," Margaret said quietly, ushering Emma inside. Emma didn't waste time. "I need to know about the Willow Creek Youth Foundation, and about the symbol that keeps showing up." Margaret's eyes widened slightly, her expression darkening. She motioned for Emma to sit. "You're looking into Lily's disappearance, aren't you? You should leave it alone." Emma leaned forward, her voice steady. "I won't. Not until I know the truth." Margaret hesitated. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, she said, "That symbol, it was part of something much bigger. We thought it was just a way to bring in children from troubled homes, but some of the children, they weren't just brought in for help. They were taken." Emma's blood ran cold. "Taken? Taken where?" Margaret's eyes shifted nervously toward the door. Some of the children were never seen again, Emma. They were used for something terrible. The foundation was a cover for something darker. The old woman's voice cracked. And Robert Pierce, he was behind it all. The more Emma dug, the darker the truth became. The children weren't just going missing. They were being abused and used in a twisted, secret network of powerful people who were in positions of trust. Robert Pierce had been a leader in this underground ring. But it wasn't just him. The reach of the organization was far deeper, extending into the local government, law enforcement, and some of the wealthiest families in the town. The chilling reality set in. Lily's disappearance wasn't random. It was part of a much larger pattern, and the symbol she had drawn wasn't just some innocent scribble. It was a signal, a warning, a key to unlocking a hidden door that was now slowly creaking open. The closer Emma got to the truth, the more dangerous things became. She received anonymous threats. Someone was watching her every move. And just as she thought she had enough evidence to take down the entire operation, the unthinkable happened. Lily's parents were arrested for involvement in the Foundation's activities. Emma was left questioning everything. Had Lily's parents been complicit, or were they victims too? Just when Emma thought she had hit a dead end, a call came in from a source she didn't expect. The missing girl, Lily. She was alive. She was being held in an abandoned mansion on the outskirts of town, a place long thought to be abandoned, but now a hideout for the twisted figures behind the child abuse ring. Emma raced to the location, but when she arrived, she found the mansion empty. Or so she thought. As she made her way through the house, flashlight in hand, a door creaked open behind her. A whisper echoed in the darkness. "I knew you'd come," a voice said. Emma spun around, her heart racing. There, standing in the shadows, was Lily. But she wasn't the frightened child Emma had imagined. Her eyes were cold, calculating. And then Lily spoke the last words Emma would ever hear. "You were never meant to find us." Before Emma could react, everything went black. The case was officially closed. The town of Willow Creek moved on. But the truth was buried. The symbol, the people behind the disappearances, the dark secrets of the Foundation, they were all hidden away as though they had never existed. And Lily? No one ever saw her again.